in a fighting movie. They usually team up to fight the larger bad guy.
Right. Doomsday.
Find Mothra. Hello everyone, I'm Nala.
And I'm Faith.
And this is the Sirens Den, a fandom podcast where we talk all things movies, TV, games, and pop culture under the sun.
Today we're joined by podcaster and friend Carson Soukup.
Hi. So, being the Sirens Den, do we communicate primarily via screeching?
Yes. It will be translated.
Okay. I've been practicing it, so.
Yeah.
Feel free to talk like you are transing someone.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of banshees. I'm sorry. I got the wrong mythological animal.
Yeah, it's not just us screeching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's like 2 hours of my life I won't get back.
Well, let's jump right into the news. In the TV world, HBO Max has now signed on a live-action Harry Potter show. What do y'all think about that?
I have so many mixed feelings.
Apprehensive?
That's a good word.
It's one of those things where it's like we've all kind of, with like remake culture and stuff, we've all kind of looked down the barrel of like stuff that we love being remade for like the past couple of years, but I thought they'd take longer to get to Harry Potter for some reason.
Yeah, so it's been 20 years since the first one was released, which is usually how long it takes for franchises to come back. But
that's true.
With Harry Potter, the last one was released not that long ago. Like, it's still pretty fresh in our minds. So, I mean, I'm with you. I also am not sure why they.
Well, I guess they also kind of dipped their toe in the remaking waters with this last like is it a trilogy?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, okay. It's going to be 5 movies, I believe.
Oh, what? Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. I know.
So is this not going to be about Harry Potter? It's just in the world of Harry Potter?
No, from what I've seen, it's going to just be a retelling of the book series in show form. It's not like an expansive deep dive into the wizarding world.
See, that's exactly what I would say I'm afraid of, is them like recasting Harry Potter and all these like perfect actors playing these characters.
Absolutely. I mean, Harry Potter is what kind of got me into film, because I did love the books as a kid, and watching The Sorcerer's Stone, I was really amazed at how good they cast everyone and how like perfect everyone's characterizations were. And it's going to be really hard to redo that. It might be time for them to like shift. Like they're probably going to go completely the opposite direction when it comes to casting.
Speaking personally, just for myself, I'm only going to watch it if it stars Johnny Depp.
I mean, this whole franchise and subsequent spin-off has, for me, gone downhill with each movie that's made. Kind of, I mean, not every movie. There were some good ones, but I feel like a lot of the Harry Potter movies, especially from Goblet of Fire to Half-Blood Prince, and maybe a little bit of Deathly Hallows, were just completely different from the books. And the changes that they made and the things they added didn't really make sense to me. I mean, some things were good, but they've kind of, for me, fallen off the wagon. And obviously, with her now like anti-trans comments and her like constant championing for that, almost like she just won't shut up about it. And I'm like, I'm going to be interested to see how it turns out. Because I agree with you, Faith, if they do go a completely different direction, and if they want to break free from what we know into something potentially better, then maybe that would be good, and maybe it could stick it to JK, which would be great. But at the same time, she is going to be financially benefiting from it. But she already is, kind of, with all these movies, with, you know, syndication rights and the theme park, like, she does, and, you know, merchandise, she does have money coming anyway. I like, whatever the cost, it probably won't trample on her bank account in the long run.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so conflicting because there's the part of me who likes Harry Potter as a like just a series, who enjoyed the movies and like really liked a lot of the lore. Who's like, sweet, a TV show where we can really like dive into some of these things and really give justification to some of the things the movie missed. Like Colin as a character, awesome. I'd love to see Colin in like the full good role that he has. In the final series, like Dean was with them for a little bit of their adventure in the Horcruxes, and he wasn't there. Maybe
Right.
and maybe we can not change Lavender from a black girl to a white girl when she becomes plot relevant.
Mm.
You know, what'd be cool is if they, instead of just telling the whole story from like the same perspective, which would be like the core three characters, if they just did like a kind of like Star Trek Below Decks kind of style, where it's like one kid from like Ravenclaw who's just adjacent to all of the stuff going on, he's just trying to
Yes.
get through school. He's just trying to, he like wants to get through school with his head down and work at the ministry at the end of it.
What if it's actually just like a film about like the Hufflepuff Quidditch team? Like, just like it's an underdog, like it's just a sports team. Like all the Harry Potter lore and stuff is just like
It's
it's in
just
the
remember the
background.
Titans. It's remember the
Yeah,
Titans,
but
but
it's like
for for
every
like
once in a while, like one of them will interact with Harry because he's on a Quidditch team, and
sure,
they'll be
yeah.
like, "Oh, that's that
Just be
Harry
like, oh
kid."
god, we're playing Gryffindor again. Something's gonna go like we're gonna get attacked by Dementors or something. This doesn't happen when we play Ravenclaw. Like,
It's a sitcom. It needs to be a sitcom.
yeah, yeah. I think they just need to like not take that. If they're gonna do it, they shouldn't take themselves seriously because we've already seen them taking themselves seriously. You know.
Hmm. I side note, I really want to write a Quidditch sports movie one of these days.
Well, you have to be friends with J.K. Rowling to do that.
Oh, yeah, if I could do that and know that she wouldn't financially benefit from it, I would.
Well, I mean, regardless with however we think about this and what opinions we have, it's still gonna get made. So I guess what I'd like to see is, yeah, more deep dive into some of the things that the books missed. Peeves obviously was a huge, thing that was missing from the movies. And I remember specifically, I really liked the headless hunt. I thought that was
Yeah,
a cool little plot line that they just did not do in the movies, of course. So I
yeah.
hope that they can really take each episode to like fully flesh out the world and like get us even more immersed, and give us some new content in the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot that was left out, like on the cutting room floor when adapting it into the movies. Could be cool. I don't know. I'm not super psyched that it's just a retelling of Harry Potter's story again.
Oh
Like
wow.
it seems like that's already been done in its optimal form.
I'm curious to see where this all eventually ends up. Moving on, bringing us into other questionable news.
Yes. So, in the video games being adapted into movies news, the Borderlands movies, which has previously casted Kate Blanchett, has announced their next casting. They have casted Kevin Hart as the role of Roland, a mainstay in the Borderlands series. It's a weird casting choice. I feel like that's just kind of the consensus right now is it's a weird casting choice, which I definitely agree with. Um, so the original Borderlands game, it is essentially about a group of bounty hunters on the planet of Pandora. Pandora is just this lawless wasteland where nobody who is decent exists. It's a world of violence and loving violence, and it's very tongue in cheek. They know what they're about. It is a game about being violent and shooting as much people in ridiculous ways as possible. And every character that you interact with in those games is like cool with that. It's and it's a very funny game. It's like a serious-ish plot, but ultimately it's very funny. So I, on one hand, I get the want to cast someone who is a comedian, but Roland is a very kind of gruff character. Like he's kind of a very kind of gruff. He's this like ex-soldier, ex-military guy, and it's just it's not And it's not to say that Kevin Hart can't pull it off. It's just not something I've ever really pictured for him.
I've never played Borderlands, but I've always been a fan of this style. I'm intrigued to see, how they stylize this movie. But I mean, could you tell me a little bit more about Roland's character?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'd be fine with them literally doing what cosplayers do, which is drawing those lines, those harsh animation lines. I would be okay with that. Why not? Not all movies have to be perfectly human.
Yeah. And then to answer your question about kind of like Roland, so like Borderlands, it's a very tongue-in-cheek game, and he's one of the four player characters that you can start as. He's kind of like he's the hero soldier with the gun. He's this kind of very like he's kind of the parody of that hero gotta save the day soldier. Does that make sense?
I mean, not a typical character for Kevin Hart.
Maybe Kevin Hart's like a huge Borderlands fan. Maybe he plays it all the time.
Yeah, that is because I do want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think it'll be kind of just interesting to see if this is a character that Kevin Hart can pull off. I think it'll just be kind of cool to see this kind of side of him as an actor. And there is the point that maybe he is a Borderlands super fan, kind of like how Ryan Reynolds was a Deadpool super fan. But also, I don't want to see him be Kevin Hart in this because that's not who Roland is.
I feel like no one's really figured out the formula for adapting video games, and it seems like true like faithful adaptations don't always work, and then when they like change it too much, it doesn't always work. So I don't know. It's just really hard to predict what exactly is going to even work for this for adapting video games. Because I mean, do you have any like adaptations that you like? I mean, I can't think of any really.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate Detective Pikachu.
Yes. Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, that's a
Speaking of
good point
Ryan
actually.
Reynolds.
I don't know. I guess my point is just that like maybe weird choices point to like a good attitude.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they're willing to like do weird stuff, and casting Kevin Hart. I knowing nothing about the games or the character, maybe just this casting choice. The fact that it is weird is a good sign.
Yeah, and that is a good point. Again, I think that's just I think the key to that is going to be capturing the heart of the game. But I think that's also why I'm a little have some reservations about Kevin Hart, just because the character he tends to play and present himself as is very different from Roland, who is kind of in a world of lawlessness, kind of a more honorable soldier type, in
I just hope
as
he
much as you
doesn't
can be in a world of Borderlands.
I just hope he doesn't go like full Kevin Hart, which is it's literally what he does in every movie. It's just Kevin
Yeah,
Hart
I think that's too
Yeah.
much.
in a
That's too
movie.
much to hope for.
But I mean, maybe they want to make it a sort of comedy. Well, I mean, it is already, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it is, and it needs to be a comedy. Like if Eli Roth tackles this thing and he's like, "I'm gonna make a serious movie," then that's not then it's
He
already
could like
failed.
Chris Nolan it and just do like a gritty version where it's just like this is what it would be like if it was in the real world.
Well, here it's that doesn't even need that because Borderlands is just like it's a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath that everyone has agreed and consented to.
well, I'm excited to hear more casting choices and see potential set photos because again, I'd love to see how they interpret the animation in this game.
Yeah,
I think they
that's
could
that.
totally go full like cheesy with it.
I hope so.
Well, in other movie news, and I didn't find a better segue for this, and I'm mad. Going back to HBO, Godzilla versus Kong, new trailer drop.
Woo!
Okay.
Super excited
Good.
to just watch big things fight.
I was worried that I
Yeah.
was going to be walking into a hate fest here because I've heard a lot of hate about it and I'm tired of it.
Why not? It's a giant atomic lizard fighting a
Yeah.
giant monkey. Like,
My
what
my
more
s-
could you want?
my standards for Godzilla movies, at least the new ones that come out in the States, are very low. I want big monster fight. I want big budget monster fight. I want that for the whole movie.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's all. That's all. That's
Boom.
I
Done.
don't care
Criteria
about the
met.
human plot.
Well, that
I
was
don't care that the humans are evading nukes, even though that's in the original one. That was the point, and it was great. But uh, I want big monster fight. I want Mega Godzilla. I want Mega Godzilla to come in the middle of the movie with a giant chair and just slap King Kong over the head with it.
whole thing
Uh,
narrated by Joe Rogan.
yes, please. I don't like Joe Rogan, but in
No,
this case, I would accept it. I would. I didn't
Um,
real.
so the trailer is pretty straightforward. It's just shots of Godzilla and shots of King Kong.
And people being like, it's Godzilla, it's King Kong.
Exactly. The first part of the trailer focuses on King Kong's side of the story. He is unconscious on a massive ship, and you find out that there is this child who can communicate with him. She's the only person that he'll actually like talk to and be gentle with. But obviously their transport plan is foiled when a dun 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 out of the water comes none other than
Who?
the beautiful Godzilla wreaking
Our
havoc.
boy.
Love him. But I also love King Kong. So like, this is a hard one for me. But the fight that they have on the ship is amazing. And I'm so excited to see it.
Dude, literally just watching him punch Godzilla, like just a good right hook. Like,
Yeah.
I got hype. I got goosebumps. I was like, I know this is kind of dumb because he's just punching a nuclear reactor, but I dig it. I'm into it.
It's a giant monkey punching a giant lizard. That's
Yeah.
What more could you want?
It doesn't need to be more than that.
What I liked about the trailer is then it cuts to Godzilla's side of the story, and you find out that something's wrong with Godzilla, and they don't like that's why they're becoming so aggressive. So you have the Godzilla side. It's like it's a nice, good old crossover event. Like who doesn't love a good crossover?
Yeah. They're sticking to the canon, I guess, because there was a glimpse of Millie Bobby Brown in the trailer. Not that I care
She can
anything
drive
about the
now.
human characters in this, but that was notable.
And the kid from Deadpool as well, Deadpool 2.
Oh, he's in this?
And yeah,
I
Hunt
missed
for the
that.
Wilder People.
I
He's
love that
also
guy.
Mhm.
That kid's great.
He is.
Okay,
So like
I care about that human character, but
Yeah,
only
suddenly
that one.
I'm very interested.
I want him narrating the monster fights. What I
Yeah.
want this movie is I just want this movie to be 2 hours of monster fights with that kid narrating the monster fights like a WWE sport. With like guest commentary from like some of the other characters who've been in Godzilla movies. Oh, that's the movie I want. That's not what it's gonna be, but as long as there's monster fights, I will accept that.
All right. So then the big question: who do you think is going to win?
we all know the answer is none of them because sequels.
No, I mean it's not going to be to the death, but there's going to be a fight, and one of them's going to come out on top, right? It has to. Like in Batman versus Superman, neither of them killed each other, but Batman won the fight. You can't. It's kind of like the Superman versus Goku argument, where it's like they have so much plot armor on both of them that, like you said, sequels. But there's going to be a fight in a city, and I think Kong's gonna win it. That's just like the fight with he's got the axe or whatever, which I'm curious to see how that comes in. I think I'm Team Kong on this one. I'm gonna come down on Kong.
I mean, it all depends on the circumstances of the fights, because they do have a fight on the boat in the ocean as well. So that's kind of Godzilla's territory.
Mm-hmm.
He could swim underneath. He could do a lot of stuff in the water. So Kong's at a disadvantage there. So that's like one for Godzilla. But then again, on the other side, when they're fighting in the city, there's that other part of the trailer where Kong just decks him.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be like a tie. I mean, it's Godzilla versus Kong. Like they're just gonna fight. I don't think it's like a fight to the death. But
you don't have to kill someone to win.
No, exactly. So to add to your point, it might be a thing where the final battle might defeat Godzilla only because, but not like the real Godzilla. Just defeat the Godzilla that's been terrorizing everyone.
They're going to have to team up to fight the 1998 Godzilla, which I know has already been destroyed in the canon, but this is a new canon. You can bring him back.
So I mean, I think they're gonna team up. That's usually what happens in a team up movie. In a fighting movie, they usually team up to fight the larger bad guy.
Right, Doomsday.
Find Mothra.
You have to save Mothra. Why do you know that name? Both of them involve like a magic glowing spear weapon, right?
Oh, you're right.
I
mean, it is HBO.
Yeah.
It's Warner Brothers.
I feel like they're just recycling the Batman vs Superman script, slapping monsters on it, and then being like, yes, it is different.
I really hope that's what they're doing, actually. I want that to be true.
So the axe is made out of Godzilla's spine, which is
makes sense.
That's pretty metal.
I've killed things from other worlds before.
Very hardcore. So the main theory in this is that they used King Ghidorah's remaining head to basically build a Mecha Godzilla to frame real nice boy Godzilla by attacking all these towns. They get Kong for help because, all these monsters in this universe, they're all just a phone call away. And then regular Godzilla attacks Kong in the ocean because Kong's off his island. And then they're like, wait, if you're here and Godzilla's over there attacking the town, then who's driving the van? It's going to be a classic, wait, which one's the real Godzilla?
Yeah, King Kong's going to have like a gun to both of them and be like, they're both going to be like, I'm the real Godzilla. No, I'm the real Godzilla. It's like, ask me a question only Godzilla would know.
And obviously King Kong will know the answer and know the question to ask because they had a beautiful bonding moment in like a few scenes before this.
Yeah.
If this doesn't happen, then we just need to remake it.
Yeah, we just came up with whatever. It's a better movie than whatever's going to happen.
Yeah, just the classic imposter, like doppelganger thing, where instead of a gun, maybe King Kong just has a giant banana pointed at both of them. It's just like, just every cliche movie trope, just kind of shove it in there, get it in there.
Honestly, I'm here for a Kong and Godzilla buddy cop movie. I think
I don't need another partner. Mothra died in the last one, so the Godzilla's like, I don't need another partner.
Well, like we said, I think it's going to be a good team-up movie because they're probably both going to team up and fight Mecha Godzilla, the evil alien from Planet X that all the monsters have to fight. But I'm excited to see all the carnage in the comfort of my own home, I guess, through the streaming service. But I hope maybe when things open up again, they might do like a limited re-release in theaters because I would also love to see this in theaters when everything is safe again.
Depending on how good they are with the monster fights, I would love to see this at like a drive-in or something. But I swear, I'm still so mad about was it 2013 Godzilla that came out where it was we got a fight at the end of the movie and it was mostly about that was I am still mad about that. And so now every time like one of these trailers comes out and it's all the monster parts, I'm like, is it gonna be like 2013 where this was all the monster parts in the film?
Right, exactly. That's every time they cut away from the fights, I was like, this is I'm so mad. I'm just like, it was just like, why are you cutting to like his kid, Aaron Taylor Johnson and his son? Like, fight. I want to see the fight.
Maybe I'd be fine with it if they kept Bryan Cranston, but they didn't.
Yeah.
How dare.
That movie promised monster fights and Bryan Cranston and then delivered with neither.
Now it's time to head into our main topic of the episode, a recipe for seduction, presented by Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's a little mini movie from Lifetime starring Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders.
Mm-hmm. It is a masterpiece, and quite frankly, if there's no Oscar recognition for the brilliant performances of this movie, then the whole film industry is a scam, and I will be boycotting it for the rest of my life.
Best short film.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it just might. There really isn't much content out there right now.
If this is what gets Mario Lopez an Oscar.
Well, Carson, what was your first impression on this?
I mean, I went into it with I think appropriate expectations to say the least. Yeah, it was exactly so perfect spoof of like Lifetime, you know? Cuz Lifetime has like a definite like reputation for like being overly like sappy, romantic, formulaic, and then also having like a really dark turn partway through the movie. And I feel like they just kind of nailed that in their very short runtime of just like this is like they're self-aware is basically what's great about it, is that Lifetime knows exactly how ridiculous they are.
It definitely felt like something they would do. And
Except for
they
most of the time they're taking it seriously, and this time they're just like, oh, this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Which it
no
was.
idea how to like even come at it. It's obviously for like marketing. It's obviously
Yeah.
Right. It's a commercial.
And like, because KFC, whoever's in they just gave their marketing team permission to do whatever the heck they want,
Yeah,
and you can tell that they just hired a bunch of just 25-year-olds and gave them full permission to do anything. And they've been taking advantage of that. There's been
Yeah.
like they kind of started off with those KFC commercials where it was the different actors playing the Colonel, and there's like the I'm Colonel Sanders. Those were like a big Super Bowl thing, and then there's the KFC anime dating game. Because they
Yeah.
needed to establish that Colonel Sanders before making a movie about him, right? Like,
Yeah.
they
This
gotta
is
do that test
precursor.
marketing. They gotta.
It
All
probably is the reason they made this. They're like, okay, so it seems like a lot of people thirst over the Colonel, so give the
Yeah.
people what they want.
Sex sells.
A little disappointed by how serious they took it. I kind of wanted there to be a tiny bit more comedy, more just outlandish. Well, I guess it was. Honestly, like the whole thing was just
Yeah.
very outlandish with
I feel like
the
every second
love
of it
timeline.
was comedy, was intentional comedy.
So I mean, yeah, my first impression on it was ridiculous. It's just what we need right now. Something that is just completely crazy enough to be like, wow, people thought of this. This is a production. It went through the stages. It took 3 months to shoot and color and edit it. So thank you, KFC, for really knowing what we need.
Yeah, it's weird because it's a joke, but it's a joke that a lot more care than really needed to go into it went into it. All right. So, to break down the movie, we start off at a lavish dinner party at the Mancera household, where we meet kind of our core group of characters. We have Jessica Mancera, the beautiful daughter who is troubled and just trying to figure out what to do. Her douchebag fiance, Billy Garibaldi III.
Boo.
Boo! Billy, more like Booley. That
Sure.
didn't deserve a laugh, Carson. Why did you give that a laugh?
We're friends.
Thank you. I'm glad that our friendship earns pity laughs. We have the mom character, Bunny Mancera.
Boo. Also,
Boo.
more like Booney.
And finally, we have the Jessica's fabulous best friend, Lee. During the dinner party, they are eating chicken, which is they make a very good point they emphasize how good this chicken is. They let the audience know that this chicken is thebomb.com. They might have used those exact words, probably not, but I wouldn't put it past them. Anyway, Billy proposes to Jessica. Shock! And Jessica, she doesn't want to be put on the spot. She needs time to think. She runs away.
Typical.
And that is the start of the movie.
Dun dun dun. What a
Yeah,
great hook.
Can we take a moment to just talk about what a douchebag the boyfriend is?
yeah.
Always.
I mean, we already booed him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly just kind of the archetypical mean rich man who's so not right for the main rich woman.
He's just kind of entitled and smarmy and like saying things to her, and he's like looking across the table at her best friend like this guy. Can you believe this guy? Like it's very obvious she has no positive feeling towards this man.
Nor should she.
Which the question, like,
Well,
how did they get into this relationship to begin with?
yeah. Well, they say that they need to marry him for like his money. So I guess they're not rich, but he is. I mean, later on, he casually writes a check for $500,000.
Mhm.
So but one of them needs to marry him so that their family can continue to be rich.
Yeah. Well, no, she needs. I don't know why the mom can't just marry. Well, maybe it would look bad on him because he does come from like a rich family. Anyway, we'll get into that.
Was the actress that played the mom older than the actress that played the daughter by like a significant margin?
I don't
It
know.
really seems like they would be like I mean, I guess that's also typical of Lifetime movies, but like it just doesn't seem like that could possibly have been her mother.
I know we're supposed to like our main character, but she's difficult. She's very much a damsel, and it's a bummer.
Yeah, she's fine. Like I think she's likable enough in the degree that like I don't want bad things to happen to her. I don't want her to marry Billy. Marry. So like
Yeah,
I'm sympathetic.
she certainly doesn't deserve Billy, right? Like that's she's not so unlikable that you're like, "Oh, these two deserve each other." But she's kind of whatever.
She kind of really doesn't have a
Just like
personality.
KFC chicken. Oh.
Mhm.
She exists to be into Colonel Sanders and have drama happen around her, but she doesn't really
Mhm,
she's like kind of the most bland character of this whole
mhm.
movie, honestly. So we cut from after the dinner party. It's the next day. Jessica comes in and explains that she just doesn't really love Billy. He's not the one. And Bunny like reams into Jessica. She's like, Jessica, we're broke ever since I don't remember if the father died or left them. It doesn't matter. The important thing is he's gone and they have the bills to pay, and apparently marrying Billy to get that sweet, sweet cash is the only way. But they are interrupted by their new live-in chef, the fictionalized Harlan Sanders, played by the one and only Mario
Woo!
Lopez. Ooh.
I appreciate that they're currently broke, but they have the money to afford Harlan.
Well, they I expect they've come to expect a certain lifestyle here, all right? They can't part with that.
So there actually was a detail here that it threw me off. So they said that he was the personal chef for the restaurant La Petite Pamplemousse, which is the little grapefruit in French. What?
That's definitely someone was drinking a LaCroix when they wrote that. Like someone had one in their hand and they were like, "Oh, this sounds fancy."
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I was wondering if there was anything with grapefruit that has to do with
Yeah.
grapefruits at KFC or vice versa, but I think
Well,
that's the better answer and probably the accurate one.
yeah.
There actually was I don't know if you guys watch Game Theory. It's or film theory. But he has a theory that that line and the fact that there was all these citruses. Apparently, there's a lot of limes in shots. So he had a theory that that is the key to the recipe is citric acid, and that's what the film was trying to communicate.
Sure.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
How
it's
how could I forget that? How
yeah.
could I not see that?
When I think of KFC, I think of citrus. Just crisp,
Well,
refreshing lime flavor.
Well, no, he was saying not it wasn't citrus, it's citric acid, and it's that they add citric acid to the oil solution, and it just gives it a little bit of a different taste, and that's the hidden thing with like the all the herbs and spices is to like accurately get the flavors to do that. And apparently the film is trying to communicate that. Um I don't know if the movie is that smart. I'm not that smart though, so who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean, they clearly had no intention of revealing their secret recipe through this movie. I mean, I still have mine paused on the secret recipe later on, and it's just nonsense. It's just gibberish.
Can you imagine if that was just some oversight they'd made though?
Yeah, they're just like we accident. Oh no! Now Chick-fil-A knows how to make our chicken. That's
Chick-fil-A! But anyway, they like are they're like KFC. I'm just gonna call him KFC. I-
sure.
Colonel Sanders. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. The
There's so
KFC
many
man.
names I can call this guy, and well, we're clear. Mario Sanders, Super Mario
Colonel
Harlan Sanders.
Lopez.
But anyway, they're like immediately super in love with each other, and they go on this beautiful walk by the pool, and they talk. She like gives him a whole life story that she doesn't want to marry this guy, but the money for her family, and he's like, "Wow, that's rough." Also, she just told the personal chef that they had just hired, who she just met, that they're going broke unless she marries this guy. He's their living chef. They hired him. Can you imagine taking that job and then like this like hot girl comes up to you and she like flirts with you and she's like, "Oh, by the way, if I don't marry this guy, we won't be able to pay you."
He's like, "Do it, marry her." I feel like how quickly they fall in love is probably the most believable part of the whole thing because it's Mario Lopez, man. He sells it. You
Mhm.
absolutely just the way that he has like his signature like looking at her like he's falling in love. And you're just like, oh, well, I'm in love with him, so why wouldn't she be in love with him?
He pulls off spirit glue like none other.
You,
And
you don't think that's his
brush
real
through
mustache?
hair dye.
Yeah,
You don't think that's
like
his real look? I thought he grew it out for the
no,
for this shoot.
you can it's a choice. They made the choice to like make the you can see the spirit gum.
Hmm.
It's it really like adds to his sexiness. Like when I see spirit gum on Mario Lopez's face, I think yummy.
How many sexy Colonel Sanders costumes do you think we're going to be able to see this next Halloween?
All of them. It's
Yeah,
the new craze.
yeah.
I really appreciate that the coloration of the mustache doesn't quite fit the synthetic comb through hair gel to make your hair look white, hair dye.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that one has like a blue silvery tone to it, and his mustache is not that.
It's definitely like his hair looks like a cheap wig that was spray painted or not spray painted. You know that like hair dye, that $2 hair dye you get?
Mhm.
It's like in the spray
Spray
bottle
dye?
during
Yeah.
Halloween. Yeah,
It
it
looks
looks like
like
that on a wig,
it looks
and that's
like Colonel Sanders took like two handfuls of the flour that they used to fry their chicken and just ran it through his hair.
This is my morning hair routine.
Yeah.
I
Just
think that's what it was actually. I that's Carson. You found the in universe reason for why his hair looks like that.
yeah. He's
Brilliant.
not old. He's not old. It's just a choice.
Anyway, they're having this super romantic moment. He tells her that one day he will be his recipe will change secret recipe will change the world. And then they're interrupted by Billy, boo,
Boo.
who like comes in like all stormy and douchebaggy like he's like, "Why haven't you answered my calls and you humiliated me at
So
the
mean.
wedding?" And she's like, "But bro, I need to think about this. This is a big decision for me." And he's like, "Ah, blah, blah," grabs her by the arm and like Colonel Sanders like, "Bro, what the hell, bro?"
Do you think Colonel Sanders could take him in a fight?
100%.
He's got all that military training, so
Mhm.
yeah, probably. And this is just a rich kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it had come to blows. That's what I think this needed more action.
Yeah. Because Billy, like he called Colonel Sanders a crouton, and he's like,
don't call me a crouton.
yeah,
It's the
he like
best line in the whole thing.
yeah, he calls him a crouton, and but like Colonel Sanders doesn't defend him here, right? Like
Right.
he kind of like lets him like harass Jessica a little bit more, and then like Jessica storms off, and then that's when he's like, I'm not a crouton. Don't call me
Yeah,
crouton.
don't call me a crouton. To
And
be
it's like,
fair, if you're just like if you're a chef hired by this like rich family and then you're getting sucked into this drama, are you immediately just going to be like putting yourself more into it?
I mean, crouton is an egregious insult. I
Yeah,
think
I
we can
mean,
all
yeah,
agree.
especially if you're a chef.
Yeah.
I'm not a crouton.
Of all the breads that he got compared to, a crouton.
I think that line was the saving grace of the scene
Of the movie.
of the movie.
Anyway, so this scene kind of leads into we go back to Jessica. She's on the phone with her BFF Lee, talking about this all to him, and she's like, "I really need your advice. Like, I don't know what to do because I'm totally into this Harlan Sanders, this Mario Lopez guy, and Billy sucks, but if I don't marry him, then my family's gonna be broke." And Lee's like, "Well, the heart wants what it wants. Anyway, I'm going on a date at the country club." And Jessica is like, "Cool." And you think it's a really useless scene. Actually, but it's not. It sets up something in the future. Meanwhile, with Jessica, Bunny takes Jessica's phone because she heard all of this conversation, and she tells Billy to meet at the same country club by coincidence.
I appreciate that they filled 2 quotas in such a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'd think that it can only be the 4 main characters, but then boom, you bring in Lee.
Yeah, Lee was kind of like the wild card character of this. He was like the surprise outsider who shakes things up. Well, I guess that's actually Heartland Sanders, but
Yeah. No, he's just a loyal friend, right?
mm-hmm.
And as a gay man, he should have been their opportunity to talk bad about Chick-fil-A.
To dunk on Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, to just dunk on him, you know. But alas, a missed opportunity to say the least.
But anyway, at the country club, Bunny shows up to meet Billy, and Billy is like, "You're not Jessica." And Bunny's like, "Shut up. She's in love with the Sanders." And meanwhile, like, Lee like sees them together, and he's like, "Oh my god, that's Billy and Jessica's mom." And then Jessica's mom is like, "Hey," like to get like Billy incentive to like keep pursuing Jessica. She's like, "Hey, remember that time like I seduced you in the vineyard?" And he's like, "Oh, hell yeah, I do." And they get like really handsy with each other. And Lee's like, "Oh my god, Jessica's boyfriend, who she doesn't really like that much, is making out with her mom. I gotta tell her." So he texts Jessica this, but the mom has the phone, so the mom gets the text message. But anyway, that was a scene.
Okay, so the there's no reason that the mom and the rich guy Billy can't Bunny and Billy, right?
Mhm.
Why is she pushing for her daughter to marry him when they clearly are like perfect for each other?
They talk about how even after he marries the daughter, they'll continue to have more vineyard time. So it's like,
Right.
why not just cut out the middleman? Why are you
Yeah.
making your daughter suffer?
You can all be happy.
Like, it's the obvious solution here. I think maybe that they're just evil and want Jessica to suffer, or maybe
Sure.
maybe there's like a demonic aspect to this money that they get. Like they have to make a sacrifice of some kind, and that sacrifice is Jessica, and that's the hidden plot of the movie that we just didn't catch on to.
Ah, they're Satanists.
Mm-hmm.
Got
I
it.
thought it was about the citric acid. There's so many
Citric
plot
or
points to it.
satanic?
Oh.
The
See,
satanic acid.
meanwhile, later, Billy goes to meet with Jessica, only to run into Billy, Lee. Lee goes to meet with Jessica, and she runs into Bunny. And Bunny is like, "What you doing there, Lee?" And Lee's like, "Yeah, I saw you!" Which you don't say that to the person that you're about to, like, ruin their life with some information, right? Like, she really should have just like played it cool of like, "Oh no, mom's here, I'm leaving. I need to do this when she's not here because clearly she's like a harmful person."
Did he suspect that she was capable of murder?
Apparently not, because like he's like,
Did
"I've
any of
gotta,"
us?
he's like goes into the house, he's like, "Jessica, I gotta,"
Not willing to climb the stairs.
not willing to climb.
Only willing to yell from the foyer.
So he starts to like he starts to like walk away from her to be like, I'm gonna tell your daughter that you canoe boyfriend she wants to break up with. Nala,
Well,
help.
before that, Billy goes to Colonel Sanders and threatens him by giving him $500,000 to walk away and leave Jessica alone. But
Oh
he
yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I mixed up those two scenes. I thought that happened after. But
He
yes, you were correct.
The order here is so important.
It's
he also steals the Colonel's recipe, which is a hilarious screen grab.
Yeah, I've had
That's
it
the
pulled up this whole time. It's great.
what does it say, Carson?
Oh, it's just so many like things, so many question marks, right? So secret recipe, chicken, whole, quarters, drumsticks, and then it's just like arrows pointing to like 9 herbs, no, 2 spices, no, like too much, too little. And then the best part of it is that there's a little drawing of a little drumstick, just a little illustration of like the perfect little drumstick.
And according to Billy, that is the jackpot. That is an
Right.
absolutely
This-
cohesive recipe that
this paper contains 0 information at all. Absolutely nothing. Completely useless to anybody.
and then he goes to Jessica to confront her because Billy had told him that she said yes to the marriage.
Mhm.
And when he confronts her and says that he's not going to be bought off, even though they're broke and currently are not going to pay him,
Yeah.
they have an intimate moment.
Well, he's a man of
Starts-
integrity. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not going to. He's going to start his fast food restaurant the good old fashioned way with hard work.
They're paying him with experience.
Exposure.
This top chef from La Petite Pamplemousse will not take $500,000 to start his restaurant business.
But then after that, Bunny calls for backup, which is when the next scene happens with Lee, who gets clocked in the head with the strongest broom known to mankind.
Was it a broom? I thought it was like a weird mallet thing.
I don't know. It almost looked like a
didn't-
shuffleboard
Me-
mallet.
And then is brought back for a second use.
Thank you, Noah. All right, cool. All right, so we cut back to Lee. He's at the house now. He's gonna blow open this whole can of worms. Jessica, just what's going on? And he just kind of like goes into the house and he's like, "Where's Jessica?" And then like the mom, who like clearly he doesn't want to know anything about like what he's about to do, is there, and he just tells her his whole thing. That's like, "I saw you at the country club," and she's like, "You will not tell anyone." And he's like, "Yes, I will." And he like yelling, "Jessica!" He's like really making a scene.
Yeah,
Like
it's so funny to me that he refuses to climb the stairs, right?
yeah.
Like he's like looking for Jessica, and he's like, no, she will come to me. I would like just stands at the bottom of the stairs right next to a blunt object.
He's like, "I left my date from Eugene from the Try Guys to be here. So I need to tell Jessica this information. She needs to meet me down these stairs." And then
just gets knocked out.
yeah, she
With
hit
a
him in the back.
Swiffer.
Yeah, she like how strong. All right, so we got to talk about how strong is Bunny Montserrat. I think that's the real key to the mystery here is how strong is this woman? Who is she? Who is she really? That she has the strength to knock a man out with a broom.
I don't know, but I wouldn't want to cross her.
Mm-hmm. Like, is there a possibility that maybe she's like controlling this reality? Like, she's like really trying. Like, yeah, there was a broom there, so maybe she was anticipating it and like.
You know, I went to that scene and I'm kind of looking at it doesn't show the broom bottom, it just shows the handle where you would grab it. And it has like athletic tape on it for a better grip. And it looks like it might just be like a lacrosse stick or something. Like
So she did anticipate this. She knew she needed a weapon. She materialized it. What else can she control in this reality?
Yeah, maybe this is like a melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya kind of situation where she doesn't realize that she's actually controlling the entire world.
I really can't tell what it is. It's not a lacrosse stick. It looks almost like a croquet mallet, which would have made more sense.
It is some kind of mallet. Maybe it's like polo. It looks like it's meant to be like it's long enough to be from horseback.
Is
It's
it?
probably
Oh,
Could
It
be like a
might
polo mallet.
be a polo mallet.
I'm looking at a bird's eye view of it right now.
It
I think
is a polo mallet. It
yeah.
definitely, yeah. Yep.
That's
Okay,
just-
mystery solved.
We're all like sleuthing over here. Just
I had no frame of reference for a polo mallet.
All right. So, meanwhile, Harlan, he finds Jessica. He's like, "Hey, bro, it's really uncool that you told your fiance about my secret recipe because that's my secret recipe and I thought I could trust you." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, to have fun marrying him." And she's like, "I decided not to marry him. What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh my god, really?" Because they're madly in love with each other. They're soulmates. They know this, and they embrace in a kiss, in a steamy spirit gum lip kiss.
the lies that these villains tell in this movie are so easily unraveled.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it's like, oh, she said yes to my proposal. And like a 2-second conversation is like, no, I didn't say yes to his proposal.
You know, the secret ingredient in KFC is love.
Is that
That wasn't on the recipe card. I didn't
is
see
that what
that.
they're calling citric
That's what
acid?
he was missing. Yes. And
Oh, he hadn't gotten it yet.
that's the one thing he was missing. That's why it had all the question marks.
Oh yeah.
All he needed was love. But obviously they have a makeout sesh, and Bunny decides that something needs to be done
Mm-hmm.
about the
Yeah.
colonel that won't leave.
Yeah, she and she's like already got blood on her hands at this point, and she's like, I've gotten a taste of violence, and so far I like this as a solution to my problem. So she tells Billy about this brilliant solution of hers, and Billy's like, well, that's better than my plan of lies that can easily be uncovered.
Of just saying whatever I want to say and like having no consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But again, everyone in this universe seems to be very gullible, because the next day she comes to her mom and tells her that she's not marrying Billy, she's in love with Harlan Sanders. But to her dismay, her mother tells her that he left, and she believes her.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, it's just like, yeah, no, why is she so trusting? Does she not have a sense, as a character, does she not have a sense of like the kind of person her mother is? Is that what we're meant to believe, is that she doesn't
Well, I don't
see
think
what
it's
we
that
see in her?
I don't think it's that she doesn't have a sense, because I think this is the true tragedy of Jessica's character, is that when you with an abusive person for so long, you don't want to like believe that this person is awful, and like being like she's really like trying to like make these justifications for these like two awful people in her life who've been, and she's trying to break free of that, but there's still like that sentiment there that even though they are abusive people, they still like they know how to manipulate her. So I think it's just kind of like it's really the story of her trying to push past these abusive relationships.
That's beautiful. Okay.
She
Is it?
they
I just get like a Disney princess kind of vibe from her, where it's like Cinderella knew that her stepmom was evil and therefore would have not believed her lies, unless she did. I don't really remember that story very well, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like whenever she lies to her and she just is like, oh, clearly against all evidence to the contrary,
Mhm.
Mario Lopez has left me.
Yeah.
He doesn't love me.
And also, it's important to keep in mind that also with Jessica, she is fundamentally a rich kid, and up
Mm,
until now, like she doesn't need it to be smart. She's had money.
right.
um Passive wisdom is just not a skill she's had to rely on, so like it's not built up. She really she'll get there. But anyway, she walks around and sees that uh he's gone until she hears like muffled screaming coming from a storage room. Like yeah, she just like walks outside, she's like, oh my god, he's what, that
Oh
doesn't sound.
wait, there he is.
And inside, she goes into a storage room. She falls screaming, and it's
I
Harlan
appreciate I appreciate the fake blood. The clearly fake blood.
on the door.
From where? From what?
But like
Yes!
yeah, did he open the door? Like, did the mom
like-
open it? Where did the blood come from?
Yeah, at no point was Harlan like injured, right? Was he?
I mean, he was tied and gagged to a chair, so they had to get him there somewhere. It's not like Billy walked up to him and it's like, "Hey, Harlan, I want you to sit in this chair while I tie you up." And Harlan's like, "I'll help you out, buddy. That sounds like a
Yeah,
weird
but it's weird.
problem.
It's weird to just have blood on the doorknob, but not see blood anywhere on the person.
What if the scene like before this was like Harlan approached Billy and he's like, "Hey man, I feel we got off on the wrong foot. She's with me now, but no hard feelings. I'll help you out with whatever you need." And Billy's like, "Yeah, I got just the thing."
Whack with the
and
pulling
then
mallet.
and then Lee escapes, and I like to think that that was like just the whole like Get Out, just in the background of this movie, just straight up like him escaping from Bradley Whitford's manor.
Well,
Yeah.
of course, we find ourselves in a creepy basement that's like really stocked, like no other place I've seen logistically in a house.
Yeah, what is this? Like, what is this doomsday bunker on this mansion?
Poorly lit.
Bunny's killed before. That's what I got out of that scene. That set decoration is that Bunny is a full-fledged killer. This is nothing new.
That might be her serial killer room. You know what? That could
Well,
check out.
they need a place for all their Christmas decorations, which are currently out right now. Because this is a Christmas
Oh.
movie. Let's not forget, this is a holiday movie.
Well, I will
Mhm.
be watching it every year.
Tradition.
As it should be, as it deserves. Anyway, there's this whole evil monologue. They're about to kill Harlan, Jessica, Bliss, and then leaves out and knocks Billy out. Leaves alive.
Yay!
He's the hero of the film. And the bad guys get busted. Bunny's like thrown into a shelf. How he got out doesn't matter. Like Carson said, probably some Get Out sequence behind the scenes. And also, I will say in the scene, this is kind of where Jessica gets her redeeming moment as a character because she is the one to fight back against her mom. She throws her into like the shelf, and like it gets all flop. She like just video game body flops to the floor, and it's great. It's very satisfying.
It was a good it was a good conclusion.
And hopefully that maybe Jessica will get a little bit more time to shine in the sequel. Then we know there's a sequel because at the end we end with Jessica and Harlan being wed with Lee officiating because he's their best friend. Who else? Like he rescued who else to marry them? He's the reason they're a couple. He's the reason they're not dead. Like of course he should be the one to get to marry them, right? But meanwhile, we see Bunny, who is confined to a quote unquote health and wellness center. She has like this like it's her hair is all gray and like witchy now. It looks like Bride of Frankenstein hair. And then Billy like comes up to her on a bench and is like, "I found them." And they like smile at the camera and he starts eating a piece of fried chicken.
Does this imply that they're in hiding? Like Colonel Sanders and her are they're just like in the witness protection program or something?
Oh shoot. You might that's true. Why would they need to
Maybe.
hide if they defeated them?
Yeah.
I don't think you can
I mean,
harass
I think
someone.
Billy's probably got some really powerful friends
That's true. He
that
is
they have to.
a Giraldi.
I appreciate that they used the same comb through spray on hair dye.
Yeah,
Very
they
on
probably
brand.
just had one can of it on set.
You know, like it's really good when franchises
Everyone
stick
gets a
to
turn.
an aesthetic. Like Borderlands had the cell shaded aesthetic. This has the spray can hair dye. It's an artistic choice, both of them, and they're equal in that way.
Yes, in
I'm
that way they are equal.
and that brings us to the end of the movie.
Oh, I was gonna say written and
But-
directed by Gene.
But according to the IMDb, it isn't directed by anyone named Gene. Gene is nowhere. It's just an enigma. It was directed and written by 3 people, none of which are named Gene. They're probably trying to brand themselves as, like the new Beyonce or the
Right.
new Adele, the new one name hit.
And it's really flowy. It's
Hmm.
really like it rolls off the tongue really nicely.
I don't know. I can't find any justification to it because none of the writers or directors have J anywhere in their name.
I think it's more about just keeping their name out of it, not putting their name into it.
I lied. One of them has an E name, one of them has an A name, and one of them has an N name. So they have the Een. They just
Okay.
needed that J. That's probably what it was.
So I'm on the recipe
Dario
for
Lopez.
Seduction Wikipedia page, and Gene is listed under production companies. So maybe that's just the production
Ah.
company that like they're the main one that got to do this, and they just put the name of the production company because they all worked on this equally and probably more accurately don't want that on this like directly on their resume.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame them. Well, I mean, overall, it was a nice distraction.
I wish it was longer.
I do too, but again, there's gonna be sequels. We're obviously not done with these characters. We're gonna see Lee again. We're gonna see all of them. I would give it 2.5 drumsticks out of 5. It left
fair.
me wanting more. It didn't quite satisfy me. There needed to be, you need a full KFC meal. You need the mashed potatoes and the gravy. All we got was the chicken.
I would say that on a scale from KFC to Raising Cane's, I'd put it at about a Popeyes. Just kind of it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was a nice way to spend my time. It wasn't the best short film I've ever seen. You know, going to film school for as many years as I've had, I've seen my fair amount of student shorts that could have blown this out of the water. But it was fun, and it's a movie that I would definitely watch again with friends.
If I'm also adding a rating here, I'd give it an 8-piece family fill-up standard because it delivered exactly what you expected going in. 100%. You knew what you were getting into. That's what they gave you. Yum. Maybe I'll be back. And it was also fun for the whole family. I should have said that too.
Oh, that's true. It's very important.
Well, that is our breakdown and review of A Recipe for Seduction, the KFC and Lifetime original mini movie that you can watch on YouTube.
So, if you got a topic that you think we should look at, you can comment on our Facebook page or send us an email at sirensdenpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you so much to our dear friend Carson for being on our show today and talking some chicken with us. You got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, sure. I'll just I've got a podcast with Faith actually called Conspiracy Theater. Right now we have just pretty much a big backlog of episodes that you could go listen to, and it's a good time. It's all conspiracy satire stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's very fun. I'm not biased at all. It's a great show. It's very M-rated.
And recently defeated losing at the character fight nights.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yes.
So just reigning champions. That's all.
So even more reason to listen to how awesome we are.
Just a bunch of winners
Mhm.
all around. Even though we haven't made an episode in a while.
Well, we appreciate you being on the show.
So be sure to catch future and previous episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you so much to Ty, our producer, and to Sean Thomas at fuzzstudio.com for our theme song.
We'll catch you next time.
Until then, stay safe, everyone.
Bye.